All right, so you know how we always say truth can be stranger than fiction? Well,
Totally.
this one you sent in is definitely up there.
Definitely.
You posited this scenario.
Yeah.
What if instead of, grainy security footage or,
Right.
a shaky eyewitness,
Uh-huh.
a jury got to see the murder through the victim's own eyes?
Hmm.
It's a chilling concept, to say the least.
It really is.
But that's exactly the kind of justice system we're diving into today.
Yeah.
The Banean system, as you laid out for us,
Right.
attempts to deliver this absolute certainty
Absolutely.
by accessing the victim's final moments.
Yeah. It's like a direct window into their perception of their own demise.
And that brings us to the heart of our deep dive today.
Okay.
Lieutenant Tom Paris,
Mm-hmm.
you know him, Voyager.
Sure.
He gets convicted of murdering a Banean scientist,
Oh, wow.
Professor Tolan Wren,
I see.
and the so-called irrefutable evidence that the professor's last memory engrams
Okay.
extracted and presented like some kind of, undeniable truth.
Like the ultimate smoking gun.
Right.
Right?
So we're talking about alien legal systems.
True.
We're talking about technology that can capture and replay memories.
Wow.
And a Starfleet officer stuck right in the middle of it all.
Sounds complicated.
Our key players, as you pointed out, are Paris, the accused, Professor Wren, the victim, Wren's wife Liddell, and, of course, Voyager's ever-logical security chief, Tuvok.
Okay, so we have a murder mystery with some really high stakes.
Absolutely.
And this really unique alien twist to it.
Exactly.
I mean, this case really makes you think about how different cultures
Yeah.
approach justice
Yeah.
and what they consider to be, valid evidence.
So our mission today is to understand what really happened to Professor Wren.
Right.
We got to analyze this Banean justice system.
Of course.
See how it works, where it might, fall short,
Yeah.
and, of course, untangle all those twists and turns that lead us to the truth.
I'm ready.
Let's start with this Banean conviction method, because it's not your typical courtroom drama, is it?
No, not at all.
I mean, imagine this.
Yeah.
They take the victim's final memory engrams
Uh-huh.
and transfer them directly into the accused.
Wow.
So you're forced to relive the last moments of someone else's life.
That's gotta be intense.
You're feeling their fear, their pain.
Yeah.
You're seeing their death through their eyes.
That's heavy.
Heavy indeed.
I mean, it's one thing to hear about a murder or even see it on a screen,
Right.
but to actually experience it like that,
Uh-huh.
that's a whole other level.
And these memories, they're not just recounted.
No,
They're presented in court by an artificial life form.
really.
It acts as a host for these engrams.
So it's like a living witness.
Yeah, testifying to the content of the victim's final moments.
I mean, that's a pretty powerful form of testimony.
It is, right?
It's like bypassing all the usual issues with witnesses, like
Yeah.
faulty memories or
Yeah.
biases,
Yeah.
or even straight up lying.
But it also makes you wonder about the nature of memory itself.
Ac-
I mean, can even direct experience be completely objective?
That's a good question.
Is there always some level of, interpretation,
Uh-huh.
even in the moment?
It definitely makes you think about the whole concept of truth. That's
Uh-huh.
how we perceive it.
Now, in Paris's case,
Yeah.
the memory they present against him,
Uh-huh.
it's very incriminating.
Oh,
It shows him with Liddell, Professor Wren's wife.
Right.
They're being romantic.
Uh-huh.
Then there's a big argument with Professor Wren
Oh, wow.
about Liddell, about his home.
Okay.
And the memory ends with Paris stabbing Professor Wren.
Wow. So it seems pretty open and shut.
Right.
Yeah.
The sentence he receives,
Uh-huh.
it's as extreme as the method of conviction.
What did I do to him?
Paris is condemned to relive those final moments of Wren's life
Oh, wow.
every 14 hours
Every 14 hours.
for the rest of his life.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's not just punishment.
No.
It's like they're trying to force perpetual empathy.
Or maybe even drive him mad. I mean, that kind of repetitive trauma, that could really mess with someone's mind.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Paris, he swears he's innocent,
Right?
absolutely denies committing the murder.
Interesting.
He admits to spending time with Liddell,
Uh-huh.
while Kim and Professor Wren were working on those navigational beam specifications.
Right. Those are pretty important, I imagine.
Oh yeah, advanced technology for interstellar travel,
Yeah.
maybe even defense systems.
Well, high value target then.
Very high value.
Okay.
But he says Liddell told him her marriage was over, and that, quote, almost nothing happened between them.
Almost nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty vague, right?
It is. It's like he's leaving something out.
You wonder what that almost entails.
Exactly.
Now, when they press him for his own memories, Paris describes a conversation with Liddell in an atrium.
Okay.
She says she wants to end her marriage.
Right.
Mentions that Wren hasn't treated her like a woman in years.
Oh, wow.
Specifically since an eclipse.
An eclipse. Interesting detail. It's
Right.
like a specific point in time when things changed for her.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
They share tea, watch a storm, and Paris falls asleep.
So that's his memory of the evening.
Yeah.
But it doesn't match the memory enneagram at all.
No, it doesn't.
So we've got a big conflict here.
Huge.
The so-called undeniable evidence from the memory
Right.
versus Paris's insistence that he's innocent.
It definitely throws the whole Banean system into question.
Yeah, makes you wonder if they're so infallible after all.
Now, Captain Janeway,
Yeah.
she's not taking this line down.
No.
She orders Voyager to the Banean homeworld.
Makes sense.
Got to investigate this.
Of course.
But their arrival is met with some hostility.
Hostility.
Yeah, a Numiri patrol vessel.
Oh, no.
They intercept Voyager.
Oh.
They're aggressive.
Really?
Very aggressive.
What do they say?
Warning Voyager to stay out of their conflict with the Banean.
So this isn't just a simple murder investigation anymore.
No, it's not.
It's tied into something much bigger.
Absolutely. And it's always lurking in the background, isn't it?
Seems like it.
Janeway, she assures them that Voyager's only concern is their crewmen, but this encounter adds a whole new layer of complexity.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, back on Voyager,
Yeah.
Tuvok starts his own methodical investigation.
Good old Tuvok.
And that Vulcan logic, it immediately picks up on the contradiction.
Right.
Paris's denial versus those seemingly perfect memory engrams.
Yeah, I bet that raised a few eyebrows for him.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
I mean, he's all about logic and evidence.
Right.
And this situation is throwing a real wrench in the works.
He starts by questioning Liddell.
Okay.
She confirms the murder happened in her home.
Right.
Even says she hired a cleaning crew to deal with the blood stain.
So that matches the memory.
On the surface, yeah.
But Tuvok's not just taking things at face value, is he?
Oh no, he's digging deeper.
He's looking for those little inconsistencies. Those subtle cues that might reveal a lie.
Exactly.
It's all in the details.
Now, Liddell, she goes on to say that she saw Paris commit the murder. Even tried to stop him.
Okay.
And she reiterates that she wanted to end her marriage with Wren because she was attracted to someone else.
Paris.
Paris, yeah.
So her story seems to line up with the engrams.
At least to some extent.
But again, that doesn't mean it's the whole truth.
No, it doesn't.
Someone could be tailoring their story to fit the evidence.
Exactly.
Especially if they knew what those engrams contain.
Right.
It's like a reverse engineered alibi.
Now, Tuvok.
Yeah.
He wants to understand Paris's state of mind. So he subjects him to an autonomic response analysis.
Vulcan mind tricks.
Well, it's not magic.
Right.
It's a technique that measures involuntary physiological responses.
Like heart rate.
Yeah, respiration, stuff like that.
Okay.
Basically to see if someone truly believes what they're saying.
So is Paris lying?
The results suggest that Paris genuinely believes he's innocent.
Wow, so his memories haven't been tampered with.
It seems that way.
That's huge.
It is.
It really casts doubt on those memory engrams.
Absolutely.
Okay, so where does Tuvok go from here?
Armed with this new information, he asks to examine the crime scene himself.
Makes sense.
Wants to talk to Liddell again.
See if he can catch her in a lie.
Exactly.
But what about physical evidence?
That's the problem.
Uh-oh.
Conventional evidence is scarce.
So he's got to think outside the box.
He does.
What's he going to do?
He proposes something pretty radical.
Okay.
A mind meld with Paris.
Whoa, hold on. A mind meld.
To experience those memories firsthand.
But that's risky, isn't it?
Very risky.
I mean, we're talking about alien memories. Potential neurological contamination.
The gamble.
It is, but if anyone can pull it off,
Yeah.
it's Tuvok.
Janeway, she's hesitant, but she gives the go-ahead.
Okay,
What Tuvok experiences during the meld, it changes everything. He's able to see those memories with his Vulcan objectivity.
Right, he's not caught up in the emotions of it.
And he notices things that were completely missed by the Banean system.
Like what?
First, he sees that the killer isn't the same height as Paris.
Oh, wow.
It's a small detail.
Yeah.
But crucial.
Absolutely casts doubt on the whole thing.
And then he sees something even more strange.
What's that?
Alien symbols.
Alien symbols.
Yeah, and numerical sequences.
Where are they?
Superimposed on the memory images.
Like they've been edited in.
It seems that way.
So it's not a genuine memory.
No, it's been tampered with.
This is getting more and more complex.
It is, and Tuvok's sharp mind. He recognizes these symbols and numbers.
What are they?
Equations.
Equation.
Directly from Professor Wren's weapons research.
Wow. So this whole murder, it's connected to that Numeri conflict.
It was never about a love triangle.
No.
It was about stealing vital technology.
So they used Wren's memories to transmit his research.
It's chilling, isn't it?
Incredibly chilling.
They turned him into a walking data courier,
without him even knowing.
exploiting his own death to steal his work.
That's cold.
It's a new low, even for a zoo.
Definitely.
But Tuvok, he's not done.
No.
He realizes that the Numeri knew about Paris's movements.
Right.
They attacked Voyager, remember?
Yeah, twice.
And the shuttle,
Wow.
someone was feeding them information.
Someone on the surface.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a conspiracy here.
We do.
Someone was working with the Numeri.
And Tuvok, he narrows down the suspects.
Okay, who does he suspect?
The Banean doctor who performed the memory implant and Minister Cray.
Okay, both with access to the information.
Exactly.
But if the doctor did it,
yeah,
shouldn't he match the height Tuvok saw in the real memory?
you would think so, right?
Right.
And when they compare heights,
Yeah.
the doctor's height does match.
So it wasn't him.
It seems that way.
But he's still involved somehow?
Oh, definitely.
But how?
Tuvok remembers something else.
Okay.
Something seemingly insignificant.
Hmm.
Nika, the Wren's dog.
The dog.
Remember when the doctor was at the house?
Uh-huh.
The dog was very friendly with him.
Okay.
Which means the doctor had been there before.
Exactly.
And he lied about it.
He said he'd never been to the house before Wren's death.
So the dog blew his cover.
I did.
Man, you gotta love a good dog.
You do.
Especially when they help crack a case.
They confront Lydell with this new evidence,
Uh-huh.
and she confesses.
She does.
But here's the interesting part.
Yeah.
She says no one was supposed to get hurt.
So she was manipulated.
It seems so.
The doctor probably used her desire to leave Wren
Uh-huh.
to get her to cooperate.
And in the end,
Yeah.
the truth comes out.
Good.
Paris is exonerated.
That's a relief.
The doctor and Lydell,
Uh-huh.
they're arrested for their roles in the murder and the data transfer.
It's justice for Professor Wren.
And the Numeri.
Yeah. Their attacks were based on a false assumption.
They thought Paris had the research
They did.
because of those altered memories.
Exactly.
This whole case is like a cautionary tale, isn't it?
It really is.
It shows that even so-called perfect evidence,
Uh-huh.
like these direct memories,
Right.
can be manipulated. You can't just take things at face value.
Absolutely not.
You got to dig deeper, look for inconsistencies.
Critical thinking is key.
It is.
And don't underestimate those seemingly small details.
The devil's in the details.
He is.
And sometimes the dog.
The dog.
You know what I love about this case?
What's that?
It's how it all came together.
Uh-huh.
You had Tuvok with his Vulcan logic,
Right.
that height discrepancy,
Right.
those alien symbols, the
Right.
precise way Wren was killed.
Uh-huh. And even Nika the dog.
It all pointed to the truth.
It did.
It's like a puzzle. And Tuvok, he put all the pieces together.
Brilliantly. So what do we take away from all of this? I think the big lesson here
Yeah.
is that we can't blindly trust any system,
Uh-huh.
even one that claims to be based on perfect memory.
Right.
We have to be critical.
Absolutely.
We have to question.
We have to think for ourselves.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling.
It is. It's a real reminder
It is.
that things aren't always as they seem.
And so as we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Think about your own memories,
Uh-huh.
your perceptions.
Yeah.
What details might you be missing?
It's a good question.
What assumptions are you making based on what you think you know? Maybe there's more to the story than you realize.
Food for thought.
Food for thought indeed.
Thanks for that.
Absolutely.